AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Black Guns Matter. Black Guns Matter. Wonder how this is being received by the Black Lives Matter crowd or the left in general. A hip-hop artist, Maj Toure, is touring the country and organizing essentially workshops, seminars to educate African-American families and communities about gun rights and firearms.
In hopes to decrease violence.
Correct. Right. That's, of course, the hope. And in addition to that, he's also taken some positions. It'd be interesting to see how those of the left would react. For example, he believes that convicted felons, once they've done their time, all of their rights should be restored, not just voting rights, but also their
Right to
constitutional Second Amendment rights, too.
Okay.
For more on what he's doing and how it's being received, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid hip-hop artist, Maj Toure. Maj, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, what's up? Thanks y'all for having me.
So what was the basis of this idea? What got you started doing this?
Well, for one, we just started to see that, I'm hearing a bit of an echo. I don't know if y'all can hear it.
Oh, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. One, it was just initially me seeing that this is a problem. This is something that in urban areas across America where there's high gun control, there's also high ignorance and high violence going hand in hand. So a lot of that's based on misinformation. So we figured, we can go to these places because it's just like North Philly where I'm from, inform people, walk them through the process, know how they can, get their license to carry, so forth and so on, and de-escalate situations and, in turn, lower violent crime.
So do you think a lot of people that, the gangbangers, they don't know how to shoot? They watch the movies and people are shooting sideways and then innocent bystanders get killed. Is it, a way, too, to treat people or show people the right way to shoot a weapon?
Well, that too, but it's a lot more that goes into it before that. So the experience that you're talking about, it could be somebody shooting the gun sideways, which is kind of a mess. Nobody's really that stupid to do that. But it could be something as simple as you buying full metal jacket ammo just because it's cheaper, not knowing that hollow points actually don't over-penetrate, even though mass media says those are the cop-killing rounds.
Yeah.
But point being is just giving so much more information about civics, the Second Amendment, your human right to defend life, things of that nature before you even get to, the basic firearm rules as well as stance grip and things of that nature. We deal with all of that, but there's so much more that goes into it before that.
Maybe, maybe you can do what, NRA and other organizations have been able to do, actually get members of the media to take one of these courses so they know something about which they're reporting when it comes to guns, different ammo, and so we could have a more intelligent debate about guns in this country.
Yeah, so it's two things there. One, the person would have to be open-minded to learn as opposed to staying biased, emotionally committed to them being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So
you see so many things that say, oh, these weapons of war. None of my military friends would be caught dead with an AR in a war zone. It's a civilian firearm for the most part, So you're right. These types of misinformation and looming myths and just wrong stuff is what we also deal with. And we deal with the culturally relevant piece of it, too, because in urban America, you have to understand that we've been under a different microscope. So, it has to be a holistic approach to it, and we make ourselves available to the media. We've got favorable press on completely less, media outlets because of the work that we're doing. So, yeah, it's open to them.
Well, you were recently here in Chicago, and you met with convicted felons and their family members. What was the turnout like, and how did you guide them?
We wanted that conversation to be just that, a conversation. We're not advocating for people shooting up things and being irresponsible, but when you have guys that made decisions, nonviolent decisions especially, when they were 25, they 45 now, and then you're trying to stop them from being able to vote locally, defend their life, defend their family, that's a contradiction. Especially in a lot of states where, even something as simple as marijuana, they may have gotten the felony for marijuana 10, 15 years ago, Now it's illegal in their state. It's a nonviolent offense, but they still don't have the means to defend themselves. And that's, seeing a lot of those families and understanding that we weren't afraid to have that conversation with them, and just be there for support, as well as some of these guys, again, they're 45 years old. They have 21, 22-year-old sons, and they want to get them involved and get them the information. So it was amazingly received, and I can't wait. That was just, for the last 2 weeks, we did those particular courses, one on weed and guns and one on felons and guns, and a larger, huger one will be June the 16th. We hope everybody registers and comes through, and and we can touch all of those things.
June 16th is where?
June 16th is at Conference Center, Chicago. If anybody wants the information, they can go register. That's at gundebates.eventbrite.com.
Gundebate.eventbrite.com. It's the felon piece is interesting, particularly for the nonviolent offenders you're describing. I think you make an interesting point, a compelling point even, and I wonder how that's received in the media or the politicos that you come across.
What we've received so far is we see that we've been able to show that this is going to be good for business. No different than marijuana legalization in a lot of states has been great for tax bases, things of that nature. When you have guys that have made small mistakes and choices however many years ago, and then you can get them back involved, you're talking about purchasing things, you're talking about new ranges, you're talking about education, you're talking about holsters, you're talking about marijuana dispensaries, you're talking about a voting populace. When you get into that space where there's politicians that need more, of their constituency, bam, here you go.
Well,
so we haven't gotten any negative feedback so far.
And interestingly, too, it seems like you're not just demystifying guns for people, but also the NRA, because I understand the NRA has been supportive of some of these seminars that you put on.
Yeah, I have a good relationship with a lot of high-ranking people at the NRA. The thing is, we still are our own independent organization. I think the beauty of that is because we're able to go and move a lot faster in places that they traditionally haven't been.
Right.
Not because they don't want to go, nor not because they haven't been supportive. I mean, Chicago, for example, Otis McDonald, they supported him in doing the work, in Chicago. But, we're our own independent entity, but we have a great relationship with the NRA.
Well, and just importantly on that point, because you have so many left politicians referring to the NRA essentially as a terrorist organization, it's important. I mean, it's important to demystify. A lot of people believe that crap, frankly.
They believe it because they've been fed falsehoods on purpose. I'm going to be very clear. There is an unseen hand deliberately trying to keep most of America unaware, not communicating with each other, because they gain power from that, And so the reality is, you can't say the NRA is a terrorist organization. One, you've never seen an NRA mass shooter, number one. Number two, the origins of the NRA being created to help, newly freed African Americans to fight against the Klan. It's not something that a terrorist organization does. So I think a lot of people are missing the information, and us being we from the neighborhood, I'm a liaison. I talk just like the same way I speak and when I was in high school, so forth and so on. But I think that breaks some of that mystification, that nervousness, because the other side has been conditioning urban America to think that, those are just the crazy racist white guys, and that's not the truth.
How'd you come up with Black Guns Matter, and has Black Lives Matter contacted you at all?
I think one of their people reached out to us in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I thought that they thought we were like an NRA stooge organization. And I spoke to them, and it was like, yo, you're welcome to come out to the class. They didn't show up. But their slogan is hands up, don't shoot. Now, the social conditions that were necessary to create a Black Lives Matter, they exist. Americans are being shot. When those things are happening, some citizens aren't, getting justice because their killers are not being brought to justice. Those are real social conditions. I don't believe that in the process of you fighting for justice, you give a submissive role. So when you do hands up, don't shoot, that's like a surrender stance. Our organization says you don't have to think my life matters. I don't care if you do, actually. I know my life matters, and my black gun will defend my life. Period. End of story. So no, we haven't gotten any pushback from them, even though we understand the similarities, but our means and understanding of the human right to self-defense might be a little bit different.
We talked to a group here that sprung up in Chicago on the South Side, led by a black woman named Lynn Dunnigan, called Ladies of Steel. She got together a bunch of women, a bunch of her friends, and then it sort of expanded to set up a gun club to kind of do it within her friend and family circle what you're doing generally as you go around the country. I wonder if you're seeing more of that, more sort of Ladies of Steel kind of clubs, or encouraging more of that in black communities around the country.
Absolutely, but not even limited to black communities. Just focus on urban areas.
Okay.
I got white homies that are more urban than me. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we are seeing more of that. You have women like Rhonda Ezel in Chicago. Rhonda just won a landmark case where now you can build gun ranges in this actual city of Chicago.
Yeah.
Everybody should look her up. Chicago Guns Matter. But yeah, we're seeing that nationally. You know, African American women are the largest growing demographic of firearm owners. That is good for business. You know what I'm saying? Our goal is to show how politically this makes sense, respecting for freedoms this makes sense, protecting our children in schools this makes sense. You know, just in everywhere there's economy here that we can tap into, as well as respecting people's natural rights and their freedoms.
And how much inertia are you up against? I mean, because of all of the press attention, understandably, on the school shootings, but really not so much the attention, but the narrative about banning this gun or restricting this person or extending this waiting period. You know, politicians pick it up and they demagogue the issue, as well, of course, as some cause celebs that emerge from these terrible shootings like happened in Parkland. How much inertia do you run into because of that?
Well, I think those organizations are a lot more, they got to handle me and us differently, because they're used to it being the 40-year-old white guy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really get me that way. So with that being the case, they're also scared of looking racist, you know. And the other thing is, gun control, all of it is racist. So, you know, the origins of it and all of that. So they kind of handle us with a different approach. And some of my friends that come to these classes, you know, these guys are the greatest guys you've ever seen, but they scary looking. You know, so it's like, okay, we're not gonna mess with those guys. But we don't get much. We don't get much of that, because the fact of the matter is this: since 1991, when Mr. Clinton put that gun-free situation available, 80 to 90% of mass shootings have been in gun-free zones. I mean, guns have been around for 250 years. We've only started to see these shootings in the last 20 or 30 years, which coincidentally coincides with more gun-free zones. So when you break it down that way, and I don't have an affiliation per se or contract with the NRA, the facts are the facts. My demographic is my demographic. And they what they do with me is they just act like they don't see me. They act like they don't deal with our facts of the matter, and that's smart for them.
Mm-hmm.
But neglect is my ally.
I love it. It's very sophisticated, very smart, and most importantly, I suspect it's very productive. He is Maj Toure. He's the founder of Black Guns Matter. It's a big event in Chicago, June 16th. It's trained toward gearing the general public, set for 3 p.m., 525 South State Street, so that's in the South Loop, 525 South State Street, South Loop, June 16th, 3 p.m. And again, the website, Maj, where people can sign up, get more information is?
Gun Debates with an S, GUNDEBATES.eventbrite.com.
Maj, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with your continued work.
Thank y'all so much. See you in a bit.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.